Huh!
Huh!
Hey, it's your boy Fresh.
I'm Mary. We're a co-ople of nerds. And today, we are going to be presenting to you the last 4 games from our 12 games of Christmas. But before we begin, don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter.
Sunkist, hit me up. Alright, so to wrap up 12 games of Christmas.
These are all games from our backlog.
Yep.
That Santa asked us to play just in time for Christmas.
That's right. So up first, we got Mega Bomberman for the Sega Genesis. I have actually never played a Mega Bomberman game. Now I know our friend Juliet India Mobile is a huge Bomberman fan. So seeing his videos, you know, got me interested in it. We played it. It's I guess I wasn't expecting a puzzle game. It's like a puzzle action game. So you still have villains chasing you, but you need to strategically place bombs to remove obstacles and enemies and blow up these crystals to get these stone pieces to move on to the next level. It's tough.
So it looks easy at first. I was like, oh man, this game is almost unplayable. It's so easy looking. And then I tried to play
it. And then I gave her the controller and was like, go ahead, be my guest. And
well, I think one thing I didn't realize was that after you bomb an area and move some obstructions out of the way, then the bad guys would come after you. They don't just, when you show them running back and forth, I thought they just ran back and forth forever. But when you take away what's obstructing them from running back and forth, then they come after you.
Yeah.
That makes it a little harder.
And then I do think there's something to learning all the power-ups. We went into this completely blind, so there were times that you can make your bombs blow up into larger vertical or horizontal patterns, and so I thought I was far enough away for the standard bomb. I picked up an upgrade, and then all of a sudden I was dead. You
bombed yourself.
You can get trapped in between your bomb if you accidentally go the wrong way.
I did that. I died like that very quickly.
Apparently there's a way you can kick bombs. So like place it and kick it over a rock or an obstacle. But like I said, we need more time with this one to really get a great grasp on it.
I thought it was Mega Booger Man. How's that Mega Booger Man going over there?
Well, it's funny, there is a Booger Man on the Genesis.
probably why I thought that.
So has Mega Bomberman earned its spot in our library? Yes. It was fun, it was tough, but I think there's enough game there that keeps me interested to want to get better, to want to play it.
Yeah, and he likes puzzle games.
I do like puzzle games, and I do love the Genesis, so it's tough.
Mega Booger Man.
Mega Booger Man. Up next, this was actually a game Mary picked out. Metroid Dread. Now, I didn't have an NES or Super NES growing up, so I only ever played Metroid at a friend or a cousin's house. But this is your typical 2D platformer, Metroidvania style game where you need to, acquire certain abilities to unlock new sets of the level, and you're kind of bouncing all around this map. This one introduces Mary's favorite character,
Emmy.
Emmy.
EMMI. I can't remember what that stands for, but it's this terrifying robot that runs really, really fast, and if he sees you, he gets you.
Yeah. You can it's basically a one-hit kill. There is a way to block it, and I've done it
Yeah,
by button mashing a couple times.
You have to be timed precisely correctly and hit that button at the right time. And you basically like kind of throw him off of you and you can run away.
Right, yeah.
Because the whole thing is that if he hits you, you die. You can't kill him. You just have to run away from him.
Right. Now there is a weapon that will allow you to kill them, and we got the one shot of it.
Yeah, we got one time.
And then it, I don't know, ran out of ammo or broke or something, and so you need to find the pieces and parts to unlock that weapon. So you basically have a...
It's scary though. When that thing is chasing you, it's kind of scary.
Typically Mary pauses it and hands it to me to run away from the guy.
Kick over. It's really fun though, and I'm excited to see, you know, future things that we can do with this and the other parts of the game that we can unlock, because we still haven't gotten to the point where we can unlock turning into a ball. If that's even part of this. I mean,
I would
it's gotta
assume
be.
so.
I mean, that's Metroid's thing, right? Turn into a little ball. And plus, we keep finding things on a level where you could only get to it if you could turn into a little ball.
Right, yeah. So, has Metroid Dread earned its spot in our library? Yes. This is one of Mary's favorite series. She loves the female hero. And of course our daughter always wants to play as the girls, so
yeah,
I think she'll enjoy this when she gets a little bit older. I love the classic 2D style Metroid better than when they switched to first person.
Yeah.
The problem with this game is we gotta play it when our son is not playing the Switch.
Yeah, because
it's tough.
He's on the Switch a lot.
He loves that thing. But it was his Christmas present.
So,
you know, one of those Christmas presents for him that when he goes to bed I play.
If there's any battery left. But we actually usually hook it up to the TV anyway.
Yeah, I suck at handhelds.
Yeah, and it's just too small to see for me. I'm getting too old for that.
Yeah. Up next, our first board game. Well, really card game. Thunder and Lightning. So this is a two-player only game where one plays as Thor, the other plays as Loki. Not the Marvel version, but the...
comic book?
No.
Not comic book?
No, the god one.
Oh, mythological?
Yeah, mythological beings. So this is...
I guess I just always assumed they were Marvel. I've always related them to Marvel. I didn't know they were mythological. And I studied a lot of mythology when I was in middle school. But
they even talk about it in the movies.
Yeah, I just don't remember. I don't remember the story of them. But
I don't... to be fair, I don't know the story of them either.
I've seen Clash of the Titans.
I think that's Greek mythology, and I think this is Norse mythology.
Okay, that's where I'm...
Yeah,
okay.
Got your European countries a little mixed up there.
Yeah.
So basically, each of you have a deck of 50 cards that are basically the same. There's a couple special cards for each player, but it plays a lot like the old game Stratego. If you're familiar with that, that's a mass market game. It's been around for a long time, but it's in card form. And basically, one of you is trying to find Loki's crown, or no, Odin's crown, and the other one's trying to find Odin's ring. And there's various ways of doing that, where you place these cards face down on the battlefield, and you can attack each other blindly. Yeah. You can send scouts in to kind of peek. Each card kind of has its own little abilities.
You can put up walls or a shield.
Yeah, shield wall, which has to be destroyed by archers, and various other units and spells and powers. But ultimately, you're trying to find those two objects. Has Thunder and Lightning earned its spot in our library? No. I think this is the first. No. Well, tapeworm is a limited time inclusion. I enjoyed this game. The problem is you play with all 50 cards every time, so the games start to feel the same. Like there's very little variety, and it's not like one deck plays completely different than the other deck. I mean, they're basically the same. We could swap decks midway through, and I don't think we would notice all that much.
Because there's even a point where like I could take one of. I remember I took one of your cards and I was able to play it.
Yeah. And then, you know, finding those 2 treasures can just be dumb luck, random. Like there's these Raven cards where you get to steal
somebody else's card.
Steal a card out of their hand. You can just randomly grab that the first turn of the game. You may not be able to play Ravens the first. No, you can't attack first turn. You can play Raven first turn. So theoretically, you could win the first turn. Your opponent never gets to play, and that's just not really a game that we're all that interested in.
So our first game was like 5 minutes, and then our second game was more like 15 or 20.
Right. Yeah.
Because the first one, I think, you know, it's blind attacking, and I'm pretty sure you blindly attacked me and got
the treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun once or twice. I don't think it's a game I want to keep going back to, and I think that's where I want to eventually develop all of our collections, is that this is a game that we love and want to continuously play as much as possible, and this just didn't fit that billing. Up next, finally, Formula D.
So this game we played with the Meeple Society and another friend of ours.
Yeah, Adele came over. So this is 2 to 10, 14 and up, 60 minutes. It is a racing game. And basically...
And the cars are really tiny.
They might even be smaller than Micro Machines.
Oh yeah, they're significantly smaller than
significantly smaller than Micro Machines.
Yeah, so Micro Machines are probably about that big. These cars are about that big.
Now the reason why those cars are so small is because there's an entire track as a board.
Which takes up 2 boards.
Yeah, so it's 2 boards, and you put them together. We need to think of a way to clip them together. I think they've got board game clips or something. Or we can just even get those binder clips and kind of clip the sides. We'll worry about that later. But and basically, you're driving a Formula 1 car.
And you have a gear shift.
You have a gear shift. So in first gear, you roll a D4. So you can either move 1, 2, 3, or 4 spaces.
Well, I think it's a D2.
Is it a D2?
Yeah, it's a D2.
Okay.
And then it's a D4.
So it's still a 4-sided dice, but there's 2 1s and 2 2s. And then it's a D6, which is like, is it 3 to 6? So 3, 4, 5, 6. And basically, as you have to shift up or down before each turn.
Yeah.
And then there are turns on the course that you need to stop a certain number of times, or you take damage. Essentially, it's like you're driving too fast through it, you're smacking up against the walls. There's a beginner mode and advanced mode. The beginner mode, the primary difference seemed to be the beginner mode just had damage, period. The advanced mode had like tire damage, brake damage, transmission damage. And so doing these little things throughout the game, like you can downshift as many gears as you want, but each one you take a damage.
Yeah.
I think in the expert mode, you would specifically take transmission damage.
Okay.
So you couldn't just keep using that same technique over and over and over. You're going to blow out your trainee because it's not as many damage points. I think there's 18.
Okay. Yeah, there was 18 to start with.
But there's like, I don't know, 8 transmission damage. So if you go from like a 6th gear to a 1st gear, you know, you're going to take 5 points of training damage and basically practically blow out your training.
Yeah. I was the most conservative.
Yeah, Mary drove like a grandma.
I did. And I came in last place. But I had I think I had 14
damage.
So I had only taken 4 damage. And everybody else was down to like 1.
Yeah, our cars were smoking and flames. Adele literally couldn't do anything. He was down to 1, so he had to drive perfectly the rest of the race. I won because, of course, I won. I always win. has Formula D earned its spot in our evening? I mean, in our collection. Yes. This game was a lot of fun. We got 2 other sets of friends that are big racing fans. I think it's easy enough for them to play.
Oh yeah, it's a very, very simple game.
Now, when you would play it with beginner mode because they're not gamers, you add in the other stuff and you start to get, like, I think the drivers have special abilities. You get the part specific damage. I think that might be a little too advanced for them, but I think they can get the base game no problem.
It was fun and also not like too terribly long. I think we played it about an hour.
It says 60 minutes.
I think we played it in about an hour. So.
And it's one of the rare games that can swell all the way up to 10. You don't see that outside of a party game very often.
Yeah.
Typically, it'll stop between 4 and 6. This one goes all the way up to 10. So, which is extra nice. You know, if that group has 6, but if we had another couple in that group, now we got 8. That basically eliminates 95% of our games, but Formula D can fit that. Well, that'll do it for this series. If you stayed the whole time, we really appreciate it. We had a lot of fun getting through 12 games of our backlog, which was pretty successful. I think we went 10 for 12 on staying in the collection.
Yeah.
It doesn't bode well for thinning out the collection, but we'll worry about that another day.
Yeah.
There's Thunder and Lightning and then Tapeworm after I beat it were the 2 that probably won't stay. And you know, you never know, tastes change, times change. There might be a better racing game that just kicks the crap out of Formula D. Right? We
have another racing game that we like. That was
Downforce.
Downforce.
That's
but
more of a betting game.
Yeah.
You're betting on your races versus actually controlling the car and downshifting and steering what lane you want to be in and all that. So a little different. Well, let us know if you've played any of these games. If any of these games are sitting on your backlog and you need to get them off. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.